Central and South America, a place where the Hispanic, Latin-based languages thrive. From Mexico all the way to Argentina, we find Spanish dominating the language landscape, and Portuguese dominates in the massive country of Brazil. But there are some exceptions to this Latin-dominated region. Take Guyana, for example. They speak English, and its neighbor Suriname speaks Dutch. But an even stranger anomaly is Belize. Having no other non-Spanish speaking neighbors in this region, it begs the question, why is Belize the only English-speaking country in the sub-region? The answer isn't as simple as British colonization as you may think, so stay tuned for that. To answer the question, we need to go back in time. Belize was inhabited by the native people who are part of the much larger empires in the region. As you may know, upon its discovery, the Spanish and the Portuguese divided the New World or the Americas in the Treaty of Tordesillas, with most of it including Belize going to Spain. But you may ask how the Spanish Empire, being a great power at the time, lost its claim of this territory to the British. Well, for a start, Spain didn't give much interest to the region, as they were preoccupied with running a vast empire spanning northwestern part of today's United States all the way to southern Chile, so they never made any settlement themselves in Belize. Well, technically, neither did the British in the beginning. So, how did the British gain this territory? Here comes the complicated part. It was actually pirates that did the settling. They looted and profited from pirating Spanish ships, and Spain, overstretched, wasn't able to do much about it. What do pirates have to do with this video? Well, the pirates also got into stealing logwood, which was abundant in the region, and they pushed further on Spanish interests when they settled the Bay of Honduras in 1638, founding Belize town. The settlement, composing of a lot of logwood workers, grew in size, prospering from the abundant wood, and this angered the Spanish, who then blamed the British. But the British played plausible deniability because even though these were English-speaking pirates, they were outlaws not under the crown. Either way, the pirates were advancing British interests. The Spanish tried through various means to deter the English. They raised their opinions, they established some settlements, and they threatened conflict. This tension, along with other disputes and concessions, led to the Treaty of Versailles, in which the British claims to the land were legitimized. But tensions between these two giant empires reached a tipping point and resulted in Spain attempting to take Belize by force. The most notable effort was in 1798 when they sent over 2,000 men to take Belize by sea. After the battle that day, the British had a decisive victory and Spain never made an attempt like this again. Wait, so how exactly is Belize refusing to speak Spanish? Well, of course the story doesn't end here. It gets even more complicated. You see, Guatemala has claimed Belizean territory for 150 years. Ever since the colonial era, before the official establishment of Belize as a British colony, this was the case. Guatemala's path to independence from Spain was a tumultuous one. After gaining independence in 1821, Guatemala was incorporated into the Federal Republic of Central America just 2 years later. However, this federation dissolved in 1841, leaving Guatemala independent once again. During this time, the status of Belize was unclear. Guatemala considered the lower half of Belize as inherited territory from the Spanish, and it wasn't until 1859 that a treaty was signed between Guatemala and the United Kingdom recognizing Belize as British territory. They reaffirmed the borders and finished the demarcation process, and in exchange there was an agreement to build a road from Guatemala to Belize City. This would have benefited both nations. However, due to various reasons, the road was never built, and the promise was forgotten. This was taken as a sign of a broken treaty by some Guatemalans. Nonetheless, Belize was formally declared a crown colony under the name British Honduras in 1931. The tension ensued over the following decades, and in 1981, a tense standoff at the Belize-Guatemala border was finally resolved with the help of the United Nations General Assembly, which passed a resolution in support of Belizean independence. This landmark decision paved the way for Belize to become its own independent country at last, therefore retaining its English-speaking identity in a sea of Spanish-speaking countries. So, there you have it. That is why Belize speaks and continues to speak English. It is fascinating to see the complexities and intricacies of world history, how countries and borders are formed and dissolved, and how promises can be made but forgotten. If you want to know why 80% of Canada is empty, check out this video. I would really appreciate if you liked and subscribed to my channel. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.